What's up everyone, this is Jake. I'm one of the natural athletes here at Warehouse San Antonio, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my bodybuilding, my endurance running, and overall just being a Warehouse athlete. So first off, thank you for following the page, thank you for liking, subscribing, we appreciate that. I made the switch over from bodybuilding to endurance training this year. I'm going to go back to bodybuilding next year. I did my last show in October of 2024 where I placed first in the men's physique category for the NFF up in Oklahoma at the Battlegrounds. And since then, I have taken some time off to recomp and grow. And in the meantime, I'm keeping myself busy with endurance racing. I know, it sounds a little contradictory. Bear with me. So in this time, I have still been eating enough and I've been growing and sticking to my bodybuilding training while adding elements of running. So not only speed work, but endurance work. I've also been actually working on the form of running. I don't have a coach in all this. I've actually been using the Run It app and I've been using my knowledge of biomechanics and overall understanding of the body to really put it all together. But it's a learning process. We're learning, we're growing, we're doing it, and we're out here. I've been doing this program for about 18 weeks now. I started training for this in August, and since then we've been upping the miles and tapering it down, upping the miles and tapering it down. So like I said, I've had some elements of speed days, I've had some elements of interval days, I've had my tempo runs, I've had my endurance runs, like my long runs where it's like 15, 20, 22 miles. And in that time, you know, you build your discipline, you build your endurance, but it takes more than that, it takes support. And thankfully I've had support here from everyone, from Adam to Mel to the community around me, and it's been really, really helpful, and I'm thankful to have that. I'll start with why I got into running. So one of the reasons why I got into running was because I have dogs, and since having dogs, you gotta take them out, you gotta walk them, you gotta move them, you gotta run with them. But when they get too healthy, they're gonna make you run. So my boy Moose, him and I were running for many years, and it's something I'm gonna continue to do in his honor. He passed away back in January due to lymphoma, but you know, he did his best and he left me with something that I'll cherish forever. So in that, I've been running and running and running and learning how to run. And now that I'm learning how to run, that involves, you know, using the Run It app. So the Run It app has really helped me out getting ready for this race. So we've had periods where we've been building up on the mileage where, you know, for 3 weeks we'll go up and add a mile from 10 miles to 11 miles to 12 miles, 13. And then the next week we'll taper it down to like 10 miles, 8 miles. And then we'll come back and we'll bring it up 13, 14, 15, and then taper it back down to 10, 11. So we've been doing that since August, September, about 3.5 months now. We just peaked on the amount of distance that we're gonna be getting. I had a 45-mile week last week and a 44 the week before that. This is now tapering down. I'm in a week where I'm gonna get about 35 or 36, I gotta check. But the biggest thing is that we've built up all this trauma, all this stress on the body so that now it's used to all this impact, all this, you know, constant repetition, so that when we go into the marathon in the next 2 weeks, I'll be having less miles on my body and be over-recovered so that when I go on race day to push it, I'm not gonna be straining myself or spraining myself or really hurting myself because I've let my body take the time to recover. And I've really been focusing on, you know, utilizing the ice baths here, been utilizing the sauna, been using the foam rollers, stretching, all sorts of things. But the biggest thing has been building that zone 2 base. So what is a zone 2 base? Zone 2 is different for me than for you, but zone 2 is gonna be something that you can have a conversation in. It's gonna be something that's gonna be low effort, but my low effort may be different than your low effort. So for example, whenever I do a zone 2 run, I can hold anywhere from like a 9 to a 10-minute mile, and my heart rate stays between 140 and 150 beats per minute. For me, that keeps me in zone 2 because again, I'm not using too much energy, I'm using just enough. So that's important for building that aerobic base. Like, you will get faster over time by working in that lower base because you build the ability to push in that tempo and that threshold zone without really actually having to dip into it. But, you know, learning all that has taken time, it's taken effort, it's taken discipline, but all in all, it's taken consistency, and that's something that I hope that I can share with you guys. It's been a big switch going from bodybuilding to endurance racing. I've had to manage not only training like a bodybuilder to keep size and to keep shape, but also putting in elements of running, like doing a lot of different single leg movements, doing a lot of different band movements to work on the actual connective tissue and the elasticity of my tendons rather than the actual strength of my muscles to produce force. So it's really, really different to actually feel these changes, but overall it's been a learning experience. It's been something that's been fun to do and great to do here at Warehouse, being able to utilize not only the war machines, but the assault trainer, like that treadmill with the arc on it. That's been really good for my sprints. And all those things, that they really just tie together and help me become more of a well-balanced athlete, because I'm actually now getting to take all the strength that I've used from this bodybuilding and apply it to some real functional stuff. And it's fun to see where I match up amongst these runners. So my goal with this race when I first started was to do it with 4 hours without stopping, without hurting myself. Now that I've been training, it looks like I'm gonna come in a bit faster than that. My personal goal is to come anywhere between a 3:30 and a 3:40, but my Runna app thinks I'm gonna be faster than that. So we'll see when race day hits, when the adrenaline hits, and when everyone starts cheering, and it'll be fun. So I'm excited to share that with y'all. So some of the things I've been able to utilize differently that are here has been like the sled. I've been able to use the sled and actually push that, get deep on that, so I can work on my knee, my quad drive, my glute drive. Like I was saying with the treadmill, the arc one there, I've actually been able to come over here and use that, and that one's really good for sprinting, for actually being able to not rely on the tread to keep going. Like, you're generating the force, so you're actually working on your form and your overall output. Like, it's a lot different. It's very similar to outside, and it helps outside too, because when you're doing your actual running outside, one cue that we're told is to imagine you're on a treadmill that doesn't move. You want to push it behind you, and that's exactly what that does. Yeah. So it helps with your overall form, so that you're not overstriding. You keep putting your feet where they need to be. Even the pit shark, the war machine, the belt squat, I've been able to use that and put like a grip on it and do a lot of RDLs and a lot of goblet type squats, again, to keep that leg strength, because right now I'm trying to make sure I keep strength and size while putting all these miles on, because I don't want to lose that shape and that size, because I'm coming back to natural bodybuilding. Some things I've had to personally change. Some of the gear that I use now as a runner is I have these belts here whenever I run, because I don't like the armbands. I don't like putting stuff in my pockets or anything. I feel like it messes up my stride. So if I tighten this, I'm good. Shoes, definitely have to get some supportive shoes. Something like, I personally like Hoka's, I like Asics and Brooks, but you need something that's gonna help your overall landing of your foot, because a lot of people either invert or evert. Me personally, I don't evert or invert. I just need support, so I just need like a cushion with not too much heel support. But if you go to like a good running place, or if you have a coach watch you and watch your gait, they'll be able to help analyze, where you're striking and what shoe may help out with that. Another thing that I've had to invest in is gels and actual endurance and fueling during these long races. That's something I didn't know about that. Yeah, I didn't know about how important that is. Like, surprise, you perform better with carbs, shocker. I was running these half marathons and my long runs fasted with a black coffee and a dream, like nothing else but that. And then I started, actually adding in the gels, because once I started getting to miles 16, 17, 18, I learned that your body literally runs out of glycogen. It runs out of carbohydrates. And that's when people start hitting that wall. So if you appropriately fuel throughout, you'll be able to not hit that wall. So if I'm running, like in my race, I plan to take at least 5 to 6 gels, one every 4 miles, maybe 5 miles. I'm gonna see how I'm feeling, but I've been doing 5 miles so far, and I don't ever really hit this wall. I get to mile 20 and I just get tired, like my legs get heavy, but I'm not like ever panting or out of breath. It's just like heaviness. So that's why I'm seeing how that adrenaline's gonna kick and how it's gonna be actually doing this race, because the back half is where it's gonna be tough. The miles 12 through 16 is where the elevation starts, and then miles 16 through 20 is where some of the biggest hills are. So this goes through Monte Vista, this goes through the King Williams neighborhood, this goes through Alamo Heights, this goes through Fort Sam, this goes through Almost Park. It covers the whole central San Antonio area. So that back half, like I said, hills, lots of hills, but we love hills. Hills pay the bills. Just the length of the sets, the working sets and the reps are a lot longer running than they are lifting. And it's not like, they're both hard, they're both tough, don't get me wrong, but I find it easier to push now in these sets, now that I've had, like if I have a set with 5 reps of quarter miles, a quarter mile rep's gonna take me anywhere from like 90 seconds to a minute 10, depending on how fast I'm going. And that's pretty fast for me. And you're doing 10 reps of those. That's a long 10 reps when it's like a minute and a half, like that, compared to, a bodybuilding set, maybe, it's 60 seconds, maybe like 70 seconds, depending on how it is. But again, that's one thing. Another thing has just been really actually settling into the pain, because again, a bodybuilding set, you settle into that burn and that pain and then it dissipates. With running, you sit in it for hours, you sit in it. But pain, it's a fleeting feeling. It's here now and it's gone later. It's temporary, so you just keep reminding yourself when you're in that, hey, it's here now, but it's gonna end. It's here now, but it's gonna end. So that's it's just about playing those mental games, tricking yourself while you're in it. Yeah, I would definitely say it's helped with the mental discipline. It's been a good reset. to have a different goal and to hit different numbers. And also it's been fun to apply all the strength that I've used from bodybuilding and functional training onto something else like running, because again, I hadn't been ever racing or competitively running. Like I'd only ran just to run and to take my dogs out. I did my first competitive half marathon in April this year, the Siesta half marathon, and I got a 2:28. I got 14th. I got third in my age group, 12th overall male, and my time was a 1:43.40. So it's like a 7:55 average. So that's what I'm hoping to. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping to, on this race, anywhere between 3:30 and 3:40 would be ideal. Run, I think I'm gonna do faster. We'll see. But it'll be a learning experience nonetheless. So recovery, biggest things about recovery is you have to make time for it, because it's not gonna make time for itself. You gotta get the foam roller out, you gotta get in the ice bath, shout out to Adam. You gotta get in the sauna, you gotta stretch. You gotta make sure you're using your therapeutic tools, because we have all these tools for a reason. You might as well use them. I personally have a NormTech, I have a Hypervolt. All those things are gonna help out. Like the NormTech especially, that lymphatic massage, that compression therapy, top tier. Because after all that running, like my legs, like I said, super heavy, super full of lactic acid, but I sit in that for a good 30 minutes to an hour, flushes it all out, I feel a lot better. And the next day, let's say if I ran 20 miles on Saturday, I can still go run 6 or 7 on Sunday. Nice. Warming up and cooling down, you have to warm up, you have to cool down. It's so essential just for better performance. Like a warm up for me is anywhere between a mile to a mile and a half. So about 8 to 12 minutes of like soft jogging before I get into either a workout or before I get into like my race pace, my race speeds. So cooling down too, you gotta make sure that you're doing at least 10 to 15 minutes of cooling down, just so you can reset your body, reset your mind, and let everything calm down, because everything's all tight and tense, and you want to ease back into being sedentary, because we're going from an active state to a sedentary state. We can't just jump into it. We have to ease our way into it. So you gotta make sure you stretch, you gotta make sure you do myofascial release, ice, compression, all those things help out. Supportive shoes, and then overall just staying hydrated and staying fueled with your food, because that's the biggest thing that's gonna carry you through all this. There's no compensation for dehydration. Like when you're running out there, like you will just cramp up and you won't be able to move as well if you're not hydrated. So the day before, 2 days before, make sure you're getting all your water in, all your sodium in, all your electrolytes in, all those things. So like me today, I'm making sure I get extra carbs today because I'm gonna run 15 miles tomorrow. So that's just, again, making sure that the recovery and the preparation is all there so that you can perform your best. So you guys already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share the video, and come check it out. We're here, we've been here, and we're gonna be here. Let's do it. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I'll be on YouTube soon, but it's Jake the Great. I'm a natural pro bodybuilder and a hybrid athlete, endurance athlete here at Warhouse. Come by, check it out. Let's do it.